Pallava art and architecture. An early manifestation of Dravidian artistic traditions, holds a significant place in the rich heritage of South India. The Pallava Empire was the largest and most powerful South Asian state in its time, ranking as one of the glorious empires in the world history. Pallava dynasty's contributions to the transformation of historical monuments from rock-cut structures to the independent edifices cannot be overstated. This innovative approach showcased their visionary mindset and set the stage for future architectural developments. The Pallavas' commitment to craftsmanship and attention to detail is evident in the intricate carvings and symbolic motifs that adorn their structures, leaving an indelible mark on the artistic history of South India. Delving deeper into this fascinating phase of architecture and art, we turn to our esteemed expert, Dr. Chithra Madhavan, who is uniquely positioned to shed light on the intricacies of Pallava art and architecture. Her remarkable achievements include earning a doctorate in ancient history and architecture and publishing 9 books that delve into the rich history, culture, and temples of South India.
Though we have a lot of textual references, literary references to temples in Tamil Nadu, we don't see temples prior to the Pallava and the Pandya times, which means that they must have disintegrated at one point of time, being made of perishable material. So along comes Mahendravarman Pallava in the 7th century, who has a whole host of titles. We'll see some of them. And he decides that in his jurisdiction, in his kingdom, temples will start being made out of stone. They were already there in the adjoining areas. They were already there in the Pandya country. They were already there in the Karnataka area, in the Chalukyan kingdom, when Mahendravarman was the king. In the Pallava kingdom, Mahendravarman Pallava was the pioneer as far as cave temples were concerned. So the photograph that you are seeing on the screen is of a cave temple in a place called Mandagapattu, which according to most scholars, most historians, archaeologists, is probably the earliest of the cave temples of Mahendravarman Pallava. So the first temple in the Pallava land, I repeat, in the Pallava land, to be created without brick, without metal, without wood, and without mortar. So this cave temple in Mandagapattu, which is near Vilupuram, is a very, very important landmark monument of the period of the Pallavas. So we now go to a place called Siyamangalam in Bandavashi Taluk. This is a cave temple of Mahendravarman, but in later times it has been added to. So in fact, many people who visit this cave temple, originally called the Avani Bhajana Pallaveshwaram, that was the original name as given in inscription of Mahendravarman's time. But today nobody knows that. Nobody even realizes that it is a cave temple. Here there's something very interesting. On a pillar, you have this lovely sculpture of Shiva as the cosmic dancer, Nataraja. This is one of the 108 Karanas of God Shiva as given in the book Natya Shastra of Bharata Muni, sage Bharata. But we understand that this Bhujanga Trasita, as it is called, means Bhujanga, snake, Trasita as in afraid or to be scared of. Generally, when you see the Bhujanga Trasita pose, as is very common in the metal sculptures, also murtis of the Chola period especially, and in many stone sculptures that you see on the walls of temples, pillars of temples, etc., you will not see the snake. Here, clearly the snake is there. One Shivagana praying to Nataraja and the other Shivagana playing on a musical instrument. One of the earliest representations of Nataraja is what you see here. This is a very, very interesting, again, a landmark carving of the Pallava period. We are now going to the rock fort in Trichy, Malakotte, very well-known landmark in the city of Trichy, in Tamil Nadu itself. And as we climb up and up and up, people generally go to see this little temple on top of Ganesha, famously called the Uchipullayar Kovil. They also go into this temple where I'm pointing, which is the Matarbhuteshwarar or the Thayumana Swami temple. Between the Thayumana Swami Shiva temple and the Uchipullayar, the Ganesha temple on top, as we go into this cave temple, you don't find a lingam that was worshipped in that period. Instead, you find a huge bas-relief carving of God Shiva as Gangadhara Murti. So this is Ganga falling on the matted blocks of God Shiva. And two devotees by the side, two celestial devotees on top, and Shiva with his foot on Apasmara Purusha. One of the earliest, one of the most beautiful Gangadharas as represented in Pallava art. Amazingly beautiful. The calm expression of Shiva as opposed to the torrent in which Ganga comes down and then gets caught in his jata. Now we come to Mamalapuram, the port city of the Pallavas. We come to the Varaha cave temple of the time of Narasimhavarman II, son and successor of Mahendravarman. See how the pillars change. The rough and rugged octagonal and square pillars of Mahendravarman's time in a short period give way to the Simhapada pillars. But Varaha cave temple, it is called now because of this beautiful sculpture of Varaha that is there on one of the inner walls. Now, what is so beautiful about this Varaha image? We all know of Bhuvaraha, Varaha tenderly lifting Bhudevi, but what we see here is Brahma. Next to Brahma is a sage with his jata, etc. Now, look at what the Pallava sculptor has done. He has put this sculpture of the sage almost literally facing his back towards us. Brahma faces his front. Varaha is in profile. Bhudevi is in profile. This sage, who has probably a musical instrument in his hand, is in profile. This rishi is in semi-profile. Now look, they need not have bothered to do all this. That attention to detail with Surya and Chandra on top is something of the greatness of Pallava sculpture. On the way to Mamalapuram, you have this place called Saluvan Kuppam, today called Tiger's Cave, and everybody just goes here and sees this monument. However, if you go a few yards away, you will see this lovely cave temple belonging to the time of Narasimhavarman II Rajasimha, who ruled from approximately 691 to 728 AD. There is a Somaskanda image at the back belonging to the Pallava times and a lingam of later times, much later times in front. Now, why I am showing you this cave temple is that there are two inscriptions, one on this side and one on this side. They have the same 20-odd titles of King Narasimhavarman II, Rajasimha, just that on this side, it is in the Sanskrit language and in the Grantha script, whereas on this side, it is in the Sanskritam language and the Nagari script, which became the Devanagari in which you and I write our Hindi and our Sanskritam today. Same set of words, same set of titles, the Grantha and Nagari versions over here. Very interesting. Nowhere else do we see something like this. built of sandstone. And here you see one of the earliest Gopurams. There is a Gopuram in the shore temple which I skipped in Mamalapuram for want of time. Tamil Nadu is known for its towering Gopurams. Today, the emblem of the government of Tamil Nadu is this Gopuram, which is not Srivilliputtur, but the West Gopuram of the Meenakshi Temple in Madurai. Gopurams everywhere in Tamil Nadu, but you see the earliest Gopuram that you see is on the east side of the shore temple in Mamalapuram, and then it gets slightly bigger here in the Kailasanatha temple, ever so slightly. This insignificant, inconspicuous thing is actually a Gopuram. And this temple, as we see it today, the ground plan, I've taken it from Alexander Ray's book. So this is what we see over here. Some 58 sub-shrines. Very, very rare in temple architecture to see it like this. But however, in front, you see another row of sub-shrines here and just one over here. Now, this is very peculiar. What it may have been, could have been, is that there would have been another prakaram around like this on this side, which either didn't get done or was broken. And this too, this outer prakaram wall, just like the inner prakaram wall, would have also had a set of sub-shrines. Anyway, this is how the Kailasanatha temple looks. And among various sculptures over there, I wish to draw your attention to this exquisite sculpture. And this are two men fighting. And most of you will know that it is from this chapter in the Mahabharata, which talks of Arjuna having gone up to the Himalayas to perform penance to receive the Paushupata Astra, the famous missile from God Shiva. And Shiva wanted to test him, came in the form of a Kirata or a hunter. This is Shiva. And this is Arjuna, to show you that he's a Pandava prince. But how would you and I, going into the Kailasanatha temple in Kanchipuram, actually know that this is that scene from the Mahabharata? Now, why did these sculptors take that particular episode from the Mahabharata and place it here? They were surely familiar with the epics, no doubt, with the Itihasas, Puranas, etc. But there is another reason. Bharavi, the famous scholar who wrote the Kirartharjuniyam, this famous literary masterpiece, lived in the court of the Pallava king, in all likelihood, Simha Varman or Simha Vishnu. Now, because the Kirartharjuniyam was written in the Pallava country, the Pallava sculptors knew a lot about it. It is about this fight between Shiva and Arjuna, and finally Shiva bestowing the Pashupatastra. He says, is it a Rakshasa? What kind of Asura? What is it? The entire forest is shaking because of it. I have to save myself. And then he shoots at it. And along comes this Kirata, this hunter, that's Shiva. And he also chases that boar, wanting to kill it. And then that fight comes. Arjuna says, I'm doing it to safeguard myself. And you are, as a hunter, you are coming to kill it. And that's what that fight is about. Titles of Narasimhavarman II being portrayed here. One of the loveliest sculptures of Nataraja over here, with a smile that is many hundreds of years old. This is how it actually looks. So I want to show you some of the sculptures around this. Parvati, so bashfully watching her Ishvara dance, standing on the Rishabhavahana. And on this side, you have a person playing on the drums. Look how he is playing cross-handed. I mean, what imagination. And one Shivagana playing on the tala, another Shivagana playing on the flute. Many sculptures of dancers, because you see this king Rajasimha was a great connoisseur of music and dance. Amazing image of Shiva Tandava with his right leg lifted up in Urdhva Tandava. Nandi dancing by his side, and a Shivagana as well. This. And many Shivaganas do you see. Final few slides. We hear of temples being sponsored by kings. Now you see a Pallava, lovely gem of a Pallava temple, 8th century, today called the Muktishwara, having been sponsored by a queen of Nandivarman II, Pallava Malla. So it is called Dharma Mahadevi Ishwaram in an inscription. Her name was Dharma Mahadevi. This is a Shiva temple. So Dharma Mahadevi Ishwaram. And here you find many inscriptions, many sculptures also. One of the inscriptions talks about the donation made by this queen for the sake of many employees in this temple. I'll just read out this bit to you. She had given money for drummers and 15 dancing girls over here, people who could recite mantras, etc. The names of each of the 15 girls, ladies who were to dance in this temple are clearly given. Their names are nothing like the ladies in Tamil Nadu are named today. I'm just going to read 3 or 4 to you. One is Perunangai Ponnadi, Atimani Madevi, Kumaridi Manikya Devi, Tigaimani Gunatungi, Tigaimani Shudi, etc., etc., etc. Names have drastically changed from then. And I've just brought to you a few gems of Pallava art and architecture. There is so much more. So many cave temples of Mahendravarman Pallava. So many in Mahendravadi. Name the place. There are so many places in Mamandur, etc., etc. Each has a story to tell. They have inscriptions, they have sculptures, the architecture by themselves are absolutely. So the Pallavas graduated from the perishable material stage to the cave temples, to the monolithic temples, to the structural stone temples. Their Gopurams in the Shore temple and in the Kailasanatha temple are among the earliest Gopuram structures, extant Gopuram structures that we see in Tamil Nadu today. From then they took on to the Chola times, and then to the Pandya times, and then to the Vijayanagara times, and then the glorious Gopurams of the Nayaks came about. Here we have the beginnings. Still, they are intact and we can see them. The Nataraja sculptures that are so unique to the Pallava period. You saw the one in the Siyamangalam cave temple, the Bhujangatarasita. Pallavas were pioneers in so many aspects. A lecture like this will not do justice to the greatness that they gave birth to and which we still find before us today. It would take a visit to each of these monuments, several visits to each of these monuments, spending days in each of these temples, admiring the sculptures, noting the inscriptions, for us to even realize what the Pallavas have left behind for us.
Pallava art and architecture serve as a testament to the rich cultural heritage of South India, carrying the legacy of a bygone era into the present day. Through their artistic endeavors, the Pallavas have left an enduring imprint on the landscape of Dravidian art and architecture, ensuring their place in the annals of history as pioneers and visionaries. Let us carry forward this newfound understanding and continue to cherish and preserve the invaluable legacy of the Pallava dynasty for generations to come.